back at it again. And, not only has Joe had a low approval rating, but Kamala's approval rating has been even worse. It's just been out of the spotlight because Joe's has been so bad. And, a lot of people have been talking about, hey, who's going to run in 24? My assumption is it's going to be Gavin or Buttigieg, Mr. Pete. And, of course, the worst governor of them all running California. It's going to be one of them two. But then I looked at some polls and whatnot, and a lot of those were saying Kamala. But I'm like, there's no way, because she's disliked even more than Joe. So we got a couple videos highlighting that today, which is just absolutely crazy. To have an approval rating even lower than Joe is just catastrophic. Catastrophic. I truly don't think if Republicans do their job in 2024, there is no way. And I know there's a speculation of funny business and yada, yada, yada. I get that. But there's no way that the left will win. And obviously, I think if there was funny business, Trump wouldn't have even tried to run. He would have been off on some private island somewhere, in my humble opinion. Now, maybe I'm wrong. He would have been off on some private island somewhere, and all of this stuff surrounding him would have absolutely disappeared. If he just would have bowed out and said, I'm done with politics, you guys can have it, I'm going off to my private island. He's got the money, he's got the connections. He could just disappear from the public eye if he wanted to. But the fact that he is back lets me know we can win, and we're gonna win. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you guys are following me on social media too. All of those links are down below in the description box. And thank you guys for all of the continued love and support. All of you guys are absolutely amazing. And with that being said, let's dive in.
Derica, though, I'd like to turn to your the piece that you wrote most recently for The Guardian, why Black progressive women feel torn about Kamala Harris. You write in the piece, progressives will have to defend the California senator's personal identity while maneuvering against her political identity. Could you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Kamala Harris, she graduated from Howard University, and a prestigious HBCU in D.C. right down the road. As Amy said, she's a biracial woman with Jamaican and Indian heritage. We've seen her break so many barriers. And we know that with the ascension and attention that comes with women of color in office, even walking down the street, but particularly in a public spotlight, it unfortunately in this country has invited sexist and racist and xenophobic responses. And so we've already have seen some of that with the birther conspiracies that are being used against her right now, which is why last night she spoke to the exact hospital where she was born in Oakland. So that's like one end. The other end is that, women of color, particularly those who are progressive Black women, are also frustrated. They're frustrated by this narrative that the lack of indifference in America ended with Barack Obama and started up again with Donald Trump. Are frustrated because of her record as a prosecutor, her refusal to investigate or prosecute police officers, her fight to uphold wrongful convictions, her support of the death penalty as Attorney General. I mean, the list unfortunately goes on. So when she says last night, I know a predator.
The left continues to eat itself, and it's lovely to watch. You'll never listen. And this is the funny thing about what she's saying right now. She's saying Kamala basically isn't far left enough. And that's part of the reason, part of it, why, a lot of the progressives don't like her that much. Woo, man. Isn't it lovely to see the left eat itself? And listen, I got another clip to show you guys after this, so stay tuned too.
When I see one, it's ironic because one of the wrongful convictions that she fought to uphold was based on the technicality of someone who was serving 70 years in prison who might be innocent. So it's just, unfortunate that you have to protect someone because of their identity and against this notion that their hands are going to be tied because they're a person of color or Black or a woman or a child of immigrants. While at the same time, if you care about the masses of Black people, the masses of poor people, the masses of immigrants in this country, you know that you have to speak truth and be honest about their record and be critical of them in the public spotlight. They have to make Kamala Harris left enough to bring in progressives, but also make sure that she isn't pulling the party too far left. And it's an unfortunate tactic that works. So my former professor, Cornel West, says, I'm a part of the radical left. Kamala Harris is a moderate. And so this tactic from Pence is trying to, use this radical left idea to push the party further right. And it's
all right, that's enough of that one. But like I said, I've got another clip to show you guys. Let's just jump straight into it. Check this one out.
And many voters are feeling buyer's remorse. In a New York Post op-ed titled, "Why Young Black People Like Me Are Feeling Let Down" by Kamala Harris, the 26-year-old says he is frustrated with the vice president's performance and believes that she isn't following through on her campaign promises. Joining us now direct is a first-generation Black American and a high school senior, 17-year-old Daniel Friends. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Daniel, you say that the president, the vice president, they're out of touch.
Oh yeah, they're definitely out of touch. One of the things that Black Americans really want to see in their communities is safety, police officers. They want to see better education, but Democrats aren't delivering on that. Instead, they're giving us a Build Back Better plan with priorities that are definitely not in tune with Black Americans or any American.
What do you think Black folks need in their communities today to lift us up?
Well, one thing is role models. And when Black Americans vote for Kamala Harris, they expect a role model. But all role models are supposed to be competent. And Kamala Harris and the Biden administration has been anything but competent.
I would say safety first. Because you can have all the great role models in the world, but if you ain't safe where you live at, and all you're seeing around you is, horrible things, and projectiles flying all over the place, you ain't really too concerned about anything else except for making sure that you make it until the next day. So I would say safety is first, making sure the streets and where these young kids are is safe, obviously. And of course, the left is always about defunding the police. Get rid of the police. They're horrible, terrible, no good, very bad people. I've gone on that rant plenty of times. I'll spare you guys that rant. But then also, education. Education. If the youth are educated, then they can lift themselves up out of that situation, regardless of what role models are out there. Now, role models I think that does play a part, but I think that's a little lower on the list, in my humble opinion. Safety and education are my top two. If you were to ask me right now, without sitting down and really heavily thinking about it too much, I'm sure I could come up with something else. But safety and education. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section.
Look at the vice president, and you say that she's incompetent. What do you think are some of the failures that she's had in this administration?
Well, we can point to the border crisis, how she failed to take charge in that, and we can talk about what the administration has failed to do overall. One of them being inflation. When you are a Black American or any American who does not make a lot of money, every single penny counts, and they're really hurting the pocketbooks of all Americans, not only Black Americans.
I want to read you an excerpt from that op-ed. It says, "Harris is supposed to be an ally, but has let us down after the past year. I would love it if Democrats stop trying to make everyone who looks like me feel like they have to be a Democrat. Who would want to support that party when the administration has failed?" What's your reaction to that?
Well, I wholeheartedly agree. It fascinates me. Well, first, I have no problem with people voting for somebody who looks like them, especially Black Americans, because again, we don't have enough role models. We don't have fathers in the home, and we look towards people who may not show what success is. But those leaders have to be competent, and we have to say, or we have to look at them and say, okay, I agree with what you're doing, or at least what you're doing will help us become a better nation overall, and that's not what's happening right now.
When you look at the Kamala Harris right now, here's the approval rating right now. It's at 28% of Americans approve, and then there's the 51% that disapprove amongst all Americans. Does that surprise you when you look at the performance that she's had so far?
It doesn't really. I mean, we, as Americans, we all hope for the best, even though I may not support Biden's policies or Kamala Harris's policies. We all want them to run the country properly. But if you can't even keep the country running at a baseline, and then on top of that, then you can work on your priorities, then it's not really surprising that the disapproval rating is this high.
Daniel, there's a lot of people watching this interview, and they're saying, what's next for Daniel? What do you see yourself doing after you graduate from school?
Well, in that one there. So there you go. Listen, to beat Biden in approval, how low his approval rating is, that is just absolutely incredible. This administration can't catch any breaks. I mean, obviously, we got Thanksgiving coming up. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Okay. But like the cost of Thanksgiving this year is just going to be astronomical. Astronomical. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people are just skipping out on Thanksgiving dinner this year. Just skipping out on it. And I don't blame them. I do not blame them at all. If that is any of you, I don't blame you because of what they have helped do to us. Okay. Now I do believe to an extent we were going to be affected no matter what, but to this level, it shouldn't. What goes on in the world shouldn't be affecting us this much. It shouldn't be affecting us this much, especially with something like gas prices. But I've gone on that rant before, so I'm gonna spare y'all on that one. That's total BS. What's going on with our gas and our oil? But yeah, we not gonna go on that rant. But then obviously you have the diesel too. Not just regular gasoline, just for the average automobile that we typically use, but then also diesel, which then affects the food prices even more. Because the food has to get shipped. It just doesn't drop out of the sky into the grocery stores. Those big trucks run on diesel. But it's all to help the planet, right? It's all to help the planet, even though all these rich elitists hop on their private jets and fly across the planet to meet up with each other. But rules for thee, no rules for me. I forgot the saying. How dare a peasant like me, question them at all. Goodness gracious. Absolutely despicable and disgusting. And in 24, I cannot wait until 2024. Man, we got to get these guys out of office ASAP. And honestly, it was a good sign to see that, and I don't know if you guys know, well, I'm sure most of you did know, but Republicans actually won the popular vote. Yeah. Yeah, remember Democrats were all bragging about winning the popular vote and how they want to go to just popular vote wins. Well, if that was the case in the midterms, you would have held an even bigger L, okay? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that they don't want that anymore. So they've gone quite silent on the popular vote talk recently. Yeah, quite interesting how that happened, huh? But I also dropped a short yesterday on November 20th. Make sure you guys go and check that one out. It's with Charlie Kirk. Make sure you check that short out because it says what Republicans really need to do and what I have said in several videos. We got to play the game, okay? We have to play the game that Democrats are playing, and we can win. We could easily win. We could win by a landslide. It's just Republicans don't really want to play the game. So, you kind of get these, it's a W, but, by the skin of your teeth kind of W kind of situation. I want to win by a landslide. A landslide. You know what I mean? I want to demoralize these folks from ever even attempting to do this stuff ever again. And it's definitely possible. We just have to play the same game that they are playing. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.